Hi, class. We saw that our life coach services spreadsheet is pretty complex. We have a worksheet that breaks down our costs for the different types of coaching services that we're dependent upon. And then our scheduling plan is our primary worksheet where we're trying to determine how many clients our different coaches can handle and how we can maximize our profit. So as we look at this worksheet, as we change things up here at the top by how many clients we can assign to these different coaches, that's going to change our numbers here as far as our profits go. And if we got all our errors corrected properly in our last round, we should see our profit number here changing depending on how we change these different variables. So our profit is going to be the thing that we're concerned about in solving this problem. How can we solve this problem of how many clients our coaches can handle to maximize profits? So first we want to add the solver product to Excel. So you're going to use File to go to the Backstage menu, and we want to look at Settings. Our Options. And when we look at Options, you'll see that Add-ins is one of the choices over here on your left menu bar. We want to click on Add-ins, and down at the bottom where we have the option to manage our Excel add-ins, we want to choose Go. Check the Solver add-in checkbox and then click OK. Now when you do that, you might be prompted for some different things depending on the status of your Excel install. It may just activate Solver and continue on. But now that Solver is activated, when you look at your Data tab in Excel, you'll see that we have this Solver Analyze block here available to us that wasn't available before. So that adds the Solver add-in to Excel for you, and we're going to use it. Now we saw our spreadsheet is pretty complicated depending on how we change our numbers for the number of clients. We have an impact on our profits. So our goal here for this problem that we want to use Solver for is to maximize our profit. So we're going to be looking at that in Solver. Sometimes when we're trying to fix something like this, figure something out, we could use a trial and error approach where we just try different numbers in the spreadsheet and see how those numbers impact things. Let's see, we can try changing this number, see what it does over here. Now remember, we're all going to be dependent upon each other in our space. So we'll get to a point where we start having conflict. So we want to maximize those profits. We could again trial and error like that, or we can use Excel's Goal Seek feature to have Excel automatically modify a cell's value. And we can then expand on that and use the Solver feature. And with Solver, we can supply Excel with all of the known rules, constraints of our problem, as well as the goal that we're seeking. So that way we can let Solver do all of that trial and error for us automatically, and we don't have to. Now I want to Control Z a few times to get rid of those numbers I was trial and erroring. And we want to start out in cell D7. And that's our first number of coaching clients cell. Now let's type 47.5 and see if our error is working. And it says, oh, yep, you must enter a whole number. Remember, we set that rule up previously. I'll click cancel. Now instead, because I want to use a whole number, I'll enter 50. And then I'm going to enter 50 in cell D8 and 10 in D9 as the number of mentoring clients. Now, as we can see, when we look at this, we can decide if we solve the problem. And when we look at our hours, we see that exceeds our constraint of 40 hours a week. So that doesn't really solve our problem. So let's try something else. Let's try D7 and type 40. And let's give her 10 individuals. And let's see if I did that right. D7, we wanted 40. D7, we want 10. And then we want to click somewhere. I'm going to put this back to 50 because I changed it. Now, how are we doing? We're still way over on hours here. Other things that we look at, doesn't matter. We still have trouble. Still too many hours for Kirsten. So now let's try moving some hours to Frank. Let's click in cell C8 and we'll try Frank 20 hours. And then D8 for Kirsten. Let's try 30. And in cell C9, we'll give Fred 5 of those mentoring clients and knock her down to 5. Now, if we do that, we still are over on hours here for Kristen, so we have trouble. You can see it's pretty tedious, this trial and error thing. Not the greatest. Let's try goal seeking. So I want to start out by going to the data tab. And in my data tab, I'm going to find my what if analysis button here. And I want to do the drop down arrow to display the menu. And I want to choose goal seek. Now the set cell text box that we want to have our goal is going to be D11. And for D11, oh, I want an absolute cell value there. So let me put the dollar signs. D11, and what I want is 40. Now, I want to make this happen by changing one of our numbers up here. So what do I want to change there? D8 would be a good place to start. Click on D8, and then I can click the down arrow to accept that. Now we're saying that by changing D8, we want to make this number equal to 40. So we want to seek that goal. Let's click OK. Now, here we go. We ended up with a negative value here, and we can't do that because remember we already set those rules. that we had to have a number greater than or equal to 0. So that's not going to work. Solution is not going to work. We're seeking this goal, but it's pretty complicated. Now, how can we make that better? Let's tell Excel about this problem. I'm going to click OK. And now I want to look at the data validation option. And I just want to look at data validation, or let's see what we want. We have 3 choices here. Data validation, circle invalid data, clear validation circles. Let's try circling invalid. Oh, there it is. So it knows that it violated a rule there, but did that anyways. Well, is it a limitation? Let's see. We're going to go back to our data validation and clear that validation circle. We'll be fixing it. And now I want to save our workbook before we do anything else. Click somewhere here. We still have trouble. So we need to use something that's a little bit more capable and the goal seeker. So let's use the solver. And the solver gives us more capabilities so that we can specify additional rules and constraints. So let's see what we can do with solver. Whenever we work with solver, we're going to be telling solver what kind of data we want to analyze. So let's start here by starting our solver product. And now we want to know what our objective is. So our objective, if you remember, is going to be E14, it says, our total cost. So if I click the selection arrow, the roll up, and I choose E14, and then I can drop that back down to our solver dialog. Now, what we're looking at here for our objective is a cost. So we would like to find the minimum possible value of that cost. If we were seeking our profit, we'd want to find the maximum. So just be thinking about the data that you're looking at, and of course we want to minimize our cost. Now let's say that we want to set up which cells could be changed, and we want to choose cell B7 and B8. So I'm going to click and drag and get both of those cells. And then we really want to add our other hours also. So I'm going to continue and press the control key and choose C8 and 9 for Frank's mentoring type hours. And then I'm going to press the control key again and choose Kristen's D7 through D9. She does all 3 types. So here in my solver parameters, I should see my 3 different ranges, B7 through B8, and a comma, C8 through C9, and then a comma, and then D7 through D9. So I'll pull that back down. Now, what we've told our solver so far is the number that we're concerned about in the end, total cost. We want to minimize that number, and we can impact that number by changing the numbers in all of these cells. Now we need to add the constraints that we have. So we had several constraints for this. Let's add one. We're going to have a whole list of constraints down here. I'm going to click the Add button to add our first one. Now, our constraint asks, what cell are we talking about? Well, we're going to start with B7 and B8. And what about those cells? They have to be greater than or equal to 0. Now we could click OK to go back to the constraints dialog box, and we can click Add to add another constraint. Now the next constraint that we want is going to be for the range B7, B7 and B8. We already did that. Let's see, I want B8 and 9. And we'll roll that one down. And they want us to use for this an integer. I'm going to add that. And then we want to have another constraint. We've got a bunch more. Let me get up to the list. Let me click OK here and bring up our solver. I'm going to click cancel. Now I just have these first two and I need to change them a little bit. First of all, for B7, B8 greater than or equal to 0, that's good. Now I want to add another one, and I want B7 and 8 to be an integer. And then, click cancel. And then we want C8 and C9 to be an integer. And we want C8 and C9 to be greater than or equal to 0. And then I want D7 through D9 be greater than or equal to 0. And we want D7 through D9 be an integer. Now there's a few others. Let's see. E7 should be equal to B19. Okay, so that's saying all of our total clients should be equal to 50. Okay, then E8, number of individual clients should be equal to this total individual. Oh. And then E9, the number of mentoring clients should be equal to our total mentoring clients. Now, B11 should be less than or equal to that total hours per schedule. And, okay, and then this total hours should be equal, less than or equal to our 40. And this person here, Kristen's hours should be less than or equal to. Now I'm going to look at all of our constraints, and we should have everything defined. We've said that Paula's number of clients have to be 0 or greater than or equal to 0 in integers. We've said that Frank's number of clients have to be integers and greater than 0. We've said that Kirsten's D7 through 9 have to be integers and greater than or equal to 0. We've said that every one of their total clients, oh, I need to check those, huh? So let's see, this one, C11, that's right. D10, that's not right, that should be D11. Let me change that to say D11. And then what about D11? You see it, C11, D11. We need B11, less than or equal to total hours. That all looks good. So now we've told the solver we want to minimize our total cost by changing the values in our number of clients cells, and that's going to use this solving method. We have different methods available to us, and we can try those different things to solve our problem. But I think that we have all of our criteria included now in our solver. So I'm going to click solve. Now the solver button gives us the solver results dialog box telling us that the solver found a solution. So we can do a lot of different things here, but for this one, let's click on answer, select the type of report that we want to look at, and then let's click OK. Now, you notice it's showing us values in our worksheet. This is how it figured out to solve the problem best. And if we notice, Krista doesn't get any hours here. We look at answer report 1. It's added this information into our workbook. So here's everything that it did and all of the things that it came up with. So that was the expected result. And we can look at that answer report and see whatever we want to see. Now, a lot of times we could try different things in Solver. like viewing other solutions, and we could try different things with our solver. So try some stuff, maybe we want to make sure that her total hours are not equal to 0. Maybe that's a criteria that we need to add so that all of our coaches get time. I'm going to go ahead and save this. And that's it for this lesson. That was our big thing here using solver. So good luck. Thanks.